Hi, this is Trinisha Cottrell, and today I wanted to talk about facing it. So, what made me think about facing it is earlier today I was listening to the sermon, and it's called Pain Leads to Progress. And the pastor talked about how Jesus, when he died, he made a choice to be crucified for our sins, and how he had every he could have at any moment decided to go another way. He could have, when he was tempted by Satan to just follow Satan, he could have said no, he didn't want to do it, or he could have asked for help at any moment and said, you know, God, I don't want to do this, or whatever else. He could have decided not to go through the pain. And sometimes, I know I did a video recently about pain, but I really think it's important for us to realize that when you choose this life, or any life, with or without, you will still have to endure pain. For me, the best part about having God in my life is that I don't have to go through it alone. I have God's strength even when I'm weak. And it allows me to be able to grow, to become the stronger person that God created me to be. And I know that without that pain, I would be nothing. I would not be anywhere near the person that I am today. I would be, I would just be. I wouldn't be inspiring anyone. I wouldn't have this motivation, I wouldn't have this zest for life. I really wouldn't have the energy that I have, the type of energy that I would need to be able to change the world. I wouldn't be as focused as I am right now without the pain. And it's something that I have to choose to go through because just like the pastor said in the passage, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, you can't go around it. You can't go above it. You can't go under it. You really do have to go through the pain. The pain is there because it's for you to face things. And when the pastor was talking, it really made me think about my life and how I go through certain things, and you might think that you can use the same remedy for something that you went through in the past. Like in the past, I might have prayed and did a few other things. But lately I'm learning that I have to do different things now. I have to do more of something else. I have to fast, more often or whatever else it is. And through my fasting, I realize that it helps me build more strength through whatever it is that I'm going through. It allows me to be able to face things head on instead of trying to avoid it because it's inevitable. The pain is inevitable. It's something that's necessary in order for me to grow, to become stronger, to learn, to develop, to become everything that God created me to be. And sometimes I think we forget that because we hear these stories about, won't he do it? God will do it. And yes, he will do it. But that doesn't mean that every day is rainbows and butterflies. It means that there's strength in pain. There's real motivation from hurt. There's real things that help you after you're broken. When God breaks off pieces of you that no longer serve you or serve the kingdom, it's those pieces, that pressure, that allows you to be pushed into purpose. And sometimes we forget that it's not always going to be easy. Sometimes we think that because we smile, because we're blessed, because we have joy and peace, that means that we don't go through anything. We go through things all the time. And I think that it's really important for us to realize that we have to choose to go through it. We can't avoid it. We can't use some kind of temporary fix. And another thing that the pastor said that I feel like is really important, because not everyone will watch that message, and maybe they will, or maybe hearing it from me will give them a different insight. I don't know, but and he also said that when you are going through pain, Satan will always give you an exit strategy. He'll always give you something that seems easier. It'll, whether it's that ex that will reach out to you because it'll be a vulnerable position, and instead of you healing like you should be, you reach out to the ex for a temporary fill. Or it could be that substance, or it could be whatever it is that your weakness is. Satan will tempt you with that while you are going through that pain, while you are going through that struggle, because he wants you weakened. He wants to attack you in your weak state because he can't get you when you're strongest. But little does he know, when you are being weakened, when you are in a weak state, God is strong for you. Not only that, but that strength that God gives you carries you through until you're strong enough to be able to face the things that you need to face. I had the sun starting to come through again, so I had to close the shades or whatever. But it's just, when I think about the things that I have to go through, especially in my healing process, as I've been healing, as I've been doing all the things. And I know some people are probably going to say, how long do you need to heal? Really? It really does feel like it's been a really, really long time. But ever since November 2020, I've been focusing on God, and I've been really starting to heal. And even after the breakup and everything in January of, well, yeah, I guess we could say January of 20, whatever. And so so ever since then, I've been healing, and I've been doing it the right way. And it has not been easy, because the old me, I would have been doing some crazy things. Like, I probably would have did anything to not have to feel that pain. I would have done anything to try to avoid healing, because it would have been easier. And boy, did Satan try to tempt me the whole entire time. He really showed me a lot of things that I really would have wanted, a lot of shortcuts that I could have taken that would have been easier, that would have made me feel temporarily satisfied, something that would have fulfilled me only for a moment. And it's so funny how he always tries to recycle and reuse the same types of tricks that he always has done. Like, things that he feels like have worked in the past, he'll recycle it and use it again. Like, oh, this thing is something that you used to like. Let me just put this everywhere around you. Let me put it on a TV commercial. Let me put it in shows and music. Let me put it in whatever it is. And it's going to be around you so much. You're going to feel so tempted that he thinks that it's going to make you fail or fall short. And we all do, but those those things that Satan tried to tempt me with didn't work during that time, because I really had in my head that I wanted to do this the right way this time. I didn't want to just try to find something that would be beneficial temporarily. I didn't want to find something that would make me feel like it was covering my wound. I didn't want to turn to something that I knew wouldn't benefit me in the long run, or something that would hurt me in the long run. I really wanted to focus on God, and I wanted to focus on healing through the pain, no matter how much pain I had to feel, no matter how badly it hurt, no matter how much suffering I had to endure. I knew that I had to do the right thing this time. And I don't know how to describe it. Like, I don't know what made this time different than any other time, but maybe it's because in the past, I always felt like I deserved to be miserable. And so this time I was like, no, I deserve better than this. I deserve to be the best parent that I can possibly be. I deserve to have good representation for my daughter. I deserve to be happy, to be joyous, to be peaceful, to be treated the right way. I deserve to treat myself the right way, because me accepting it is me saying that I'm not treating myself with the most respect or honoring myself in full. And so when I really sat back and I thought about all of the things that I had been through, all of the things that I didn't even know what I would have to endure and how many temptations would be surrounding me during my healing process, but it hasn't always been easy. There's some things that I wanted that I just jumped into, that I just was like, I don't want to wait any longer. I've been healing forever. It feels like forever. So, how long do I possibly need to heal? And let me just say and reiterate again, because I say this in some videos, but there is no time period on how long it's going to take for you to heal. That's the thing that like is so annoying to me, because I wish there was like a thing that you could put up and it had like a time, like the countdown movie. Nobody knows what I'm talking about unless they watch horror movies, but like that. But instead of it being for, your time to go, it could be your time to heal. And so while you're healing, there's like this clock on there, like in approximately 3 months and 2 days, you're going to be healed. And all of a sudden, you're just going to wake up like, oh, what a beautiful day. I don't know. But that's what my ideal situation would be. I didn't know that it would be 3 months and I would feel healed and then still have certain things like triggers and things that would make me feel a certain type of way. I thought that I would be completely fine. And then I didn't know that. I want to say this because I feel like I'm not the only person who went through this, not to dog out someone or make someone feel a certain type of way if they end up watching this video. I didn't expect for the person to try to make me suffer, to like throw things in my face and to want to hurt me just because I didn't want to be with them. Like, I really felt like, I mean, I understand they're hurting as well. I just thought that I could move on and heal on my own in my own time and just focus on the things that I needed to do for myself. And after all of the pain that I had already endured, I thought, this is going to sound silly, but I really thought, you've already won. Like, you've hurt me a lot. So I don't understand why you want to continuously go out of the way to try to still hurt me just because I don't want to be with you. But it is what it is. And I also learned a lot about myself and how much I really could endure and how much God really is there for me. Like, if I didn't have God, if I didn't rededicate my life to God, it probably would have went down. But thank God, he he decided to cover me, and I decided to rededicate my life to him, because it could have went down totally differently. And I might not be doing this video right now, but thank God. he definitely saved me and used me, because mm, mm. Yeah, it's the way that I reacted, the things that I did after some of the things that happened is definitely the saved version of me, because because before I was saved, I don't know if I would have handled the situation with such class and dignity. I don't know if, while the person was trying to like push me and get back at me and make me feel a certain type of way and like rub things in my face, if I would have been as cool, calm, and collected as I was. I don't know if I would have not cared as much as I did. I don't know if I would have been strong enough to endure that scrutiny if I didn't have God in my life. It's almost as if when I was leaving the situation, when I was at the end, God knew that I would need him. And he knew that there was no way I would make it through there, through the whole situation without him. It's like he had already seen, like, okay, you want to do this your way, you go ahead and do it your way. Like, he's such a good God that he will allow you to make your own mistakes and then learn from them. And then he'll still use you, because he knows that if you are willing to give your life to him, he can do anything. He can change any situation. It doesn't matter what you've done in the past. It doesn't matter what type of person you are, what type of person you were, what type of things that you might have done that you feel like are unforgivable. God will forgive you and he will use you in whatever it is that you've been through for his glory. Sometimes we forget that God is who he said he is. And for me, there's nothing that would have given me the strength that I needed like God. Nothing. Like I could have turned to a person, I could have turned to a substance, I could have turned to all of these other things, but nothing would have fulfilled me the way that God did. Nothing would have gave me the peace that I needed like God did. Nothing would have guided me in the right direction like God did. Nothing would have allowed me to use the pain and all of the things that I went through for his glory to help other people like God did. And it's so funny because looking back, when you're in the situation, it really truly feels like it really truly feels like you don't know how you're going to make it through it. Like I I never would have expected that my life would go the way that it has been. Like, and I'm not being ungrateful for my life or anything else. I'm just saying in my head I had this scenario picked out. Like I was going to graduate high school and I was going to go to college and I was going to become a psychologist and all of these other things. I had like this long list of things that I was going to do and I was going to get married and have two kids and I like I had this whole like plan of things that were going to happen in my life and everything happened totally like different than I expected. Like I would have never imagined that things would turn out the way that they did. And when I turned my life to God, it really has went way better than I could have ever imagined. And so it's just is I have no words for it. I can't describe how good God is. I really can't. And people see me now and they would never imagine that I would be the type of person that would endure the things that I went through in the past. And really, I had a lot of stuff going on that I just never dealt with. I always felt like, really, who cares? And this is just the way life is. And being in like situations like the ones that I have, it really does make you feel like there's nothing better. And I keep getting messages. It's so funny though because when I'm doing other stuff, like people will text like occasionally or something like that, but when I'm in the middle of doing something or if I'm like I'm talking to like someone in some kind of whatever, that's when like my phone will be blowing up. But usually it's real dry. Like let me just tell you, when you want to be a Christian and you want to do the right thing, your phone is dry. Like the people that you talk to is like I talk to people in my family, most of the time. But other than that, it's just like me focusing on business stuff. That's it. It's just it's no excitement, no drama. So I shouldn't say excitement because I don't want drama in my life anyways. But it's really a lot of peace. Like you realize that a lot of the people that you talk to don't need to be a part of your life because it's too much. And when you start setting those boundaries, it's real dry. Like you got this calming peace and around you, around your phone, and it really is like a whole nother thing. And so I was about to say something earlier and I cannot remember where I was going with that, but if it comes back to me, then I'll say it. But it's just, I never imagined my life going the way that it did through all the other things. And people could have told me like, hey, this is what's going to happen. And I would have been like, yeah, right. And then when I rededicated my life to God, it's like, I couldn't imagine how things were going to go in the best way. And people could have told me, and I still would have been like, I don't know about that. Like if they would have said, you're gonna have to go through all of this stuff and face everything. Like I was not the type of person that would face anything. I would avoid everything at all costs. And so for me, this is like totally new because I really was like always constantly avoiding everything. Like I didn't want to have to like if for example, I would have friends in the past and my friend would do something that annoyed the mess out of me or it would be something that really hurt my feelings and I would not say anything. I would just be like, well, this is just how it is. Like I dealt with so much torture because I just chose to deal with it. That a lot of things that I really didn't have to deal with in my life, and I feel like that's what a lot of us do. We might talk to someone else about it, but really, you true growth and real adulthood is facing everything head on, no matter what it is. Like it could be a friendship, like your friend does something that you don't like, and you have to be willing to tell them, hey, I know that you might not mean this in the worst way, but this is how I feel when you do blah. And if they respect you and they care about you, they respect your opinion and they won't continuously keep hurting you. And it takes a real growth to be that type of person who's willing to do that type of thing. And even when it comes to like family members and things like that, like they mean the best. I mean, they mean well. But sometimes when they do things, it does hurt your feelings or something else. You have to be willing to say things. And I'm not saying just be sensitive about everything and just turn everything into a big issue. Like, you don't have to do all of that. But if it's something that really truly matters to you in your core, you need to speak on it and in a very, very respectful way. Like, don't go disrespecting your family. Like, they're your family. And you also have to make sure you protect yourself when it comes to other people who enter into my life that want to be a part of my life, that whether it's a new friend or a new friend who's a potential person or something like that, I definitely have to speak up for myself. And it's not always easy because I've always just not said anything. I've always just kind of let things go. Like I would speak up for myself in the wrong way, if that makes any sense. Like I would wait until it's something that I can't handle anymore, like something that's so annoying that really gets on my nerves so badly, or something that really, really, truly to my core I can't stand. And eventually it'll just be like I'll be so annoyed with it. I'll feel so, I don't know how to describe it, but it'll be like at my breaking point is when I would say something. And now I know that if something really, truly, truly does matter to me, then I need to speak on it and I need to say something about it because people don't know what you're thinking. Like, that's one thing that I knew that, but I didn't know that, if that makes any sense. Like, I know no one can read your mind, but I would assume that because someone was paying attention to context clues, they would pick up on it. But no one can read your mind. So if something bothers you, if you don't like something, if you're not okay with something, you have to speak up for yourself and you have to say what it is. You have to really face these things in your life. If you know that, and for me, some things in my past I didn't even know affected me. Like, I would just be pushing people away, and I was just like, that's just the type of person I am because, there's a lot of bad people in the world. So I need to protect myself. And I realized that I push people away because I don't want anyone to get too close to me. Because, I mean, now I do. But in the past, I didn't want anyone to get too close to me because it would make me feel too vulnerable. And they would actually they might be able to see some of the things that I went through in the past, or they might be judging me, or they might use me, or they might whatever else it is. It's just like things like that I really had to face head on. And it was not easy work. It wasn't just like I woke up one day and everything was fixed. I really had to do some deep diving. I had to like write letters to people in the past who have hurt me, and not in a you did all of these things kind of way, in a me acknowledging the things that I've done in my past, the way that it has affected me in my life, and the things that it has continued to do with me in my life. Like in relationships and friendships, whatever else, like things like that, that it really affected me and that I didn't even know had any kind of effect on me. And it's so weird because you could think that, oh no, this thing is something small, it really doesn't matter. But the way that you were maybe talked to in the past allows other people to talk to you that way, and you hate when people talk to you like that. It could be someone leaving, and now you have abandonment issues. It could be you just not being able to be vulnerable because the last time you were vulnerable, you were taken advantage of. Like, whatever it is, it's like things like that really do affect your future, and you have to be willing to face them head on. You can't be afraid. You can't be worried about what someone else is going to think, because this is about you healing yourself. This is about you allowing God to heal you. You need to be healed spiritually through God, through the Bible, through prayer, through fasting, through meditating, through really spending that time with God. And you need to be healed psychologically and mentally through a therapist, a counselor, someone who really has went to school for it, someone who can really dig deep, someone who has a unbiased opinion, who can really sit there and listen to you vent about the things that you went through and help you find a solution, or reading materials that will help you grow and learn and heal in the way that is proper for you, so that when you enter into a new friendship or you enter into a new relationship, you don't have to take those things in it with you. You don't have to try to push away everyone, because you don't have to try to just protect yourself. You can be smart about a situation. You can guard your heart at all costs. But that does not mean you have to create a still barrier around you that no one can get to. You really do have to be willing to feel the pain. It's not easy. It's like picking an old scab. Like, it started to heal, but that hurt is still there. That pain, that disappointment, that abandonment, that whatever it is that you've went through is still there. And until you go through it, you will never be able to completely heal it. That scab will never turn into like a darker tone on you that is properly healing, or whatever color it is. And it will never be able to start to heal like this wound from my burn. It's like you will never be able to properly heal if you don't face things head on. It may seem easier to pick up that substance and just use it because it's like your exit strategy. You might be able to just have it temporarily and feel okay in the moment, but that problem is still going to be there. You might be able to feed your flesh, and it might feel great in the moment. It might be like the best thing ever. I don't know. But regardless of if it's the best thing ever or not, you still have to face things head on. Sorry, I had to step away for a second. I had to complete something. So I'm I'm working on a project and doing a video at the same time, so I had to make sure that I submitted something and then come back. But to you, it never, there was no pause or anything. So just so you know, in case I'm like off course or something. But what I was getting ready to say is, in conclusion, you do have to be willing to face things head on in order to heal, in order to grow, in order to be used as a vessel, in order to be in your purpose. You have to be willing to go through things so that some of the generations to come won't have to go through those things. Like, I'm hoping that for people in my family, people, for my daughter, for people that are around me, they won't have to go through the hurt of being in a toxic relationship, or they won't have to feel like their life has to be bad. They can believe in themselves. They could truly see that they can be anything that they want to be. And they can grow and learn and do all of the things that God intended for them to do in their life. And sometimes you will go through things, but I always try to tell people in my family and some of my friends that you don't have to go through. You don't want to make a choice to go through something that you don't have to go through, because life is already going to be hard enough. There are already going to be trials and tribulations and storms in your life. So why add to it and make it harder than it has to be if you don't have to do it that way? And I know that people have to live their own life and they're going to make their own decisions regardless of what it is that I say, but I'm hoping that I can help change someone's life so that they don't have to endure some of the pain that I went through. So that they realize that God didn't intend for them to have to suffer their whole life. God didn't intend for them to have to be miserable every day. God didn't intend for them to have to go through so many things just to make it back to Him. You could choose Him in the beginning, and you will still have growing pains. You will still have things that you have to grow through, to go through. And it's going to be inevitable. But honestly, having God in my life makes it so much easier to go through the storm. Is it easy in general? No. It's hard. But knowing God's there with me gives me that peace when I'm going through the storm. It's like when Jesus was asleep on the boat when the storm was going on around him and everybody else was freaking out. That's how I feel when I go through my storms. I literally have this peace inside of me. Like, no matter what's happening, I know everything is going to be okay. I was, it's so funny because this is going to be like probably the last story, unless something moves in my spirit. But I went to go to this place for fall, and it's like one of these cool places that you get to go, and it's only during the season or whatever else. So I'm there, and there we're on this ride, which is, it's not like a ride like a roller coaster, but it's like a thing that carries you different places in this event. And while we're there, it's like literally the whole sides are open and like we're rolling through this area. And it's like shaking, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I hope like this thing doesn't detach, or whatever, and we end up not having someone staring because the person who steers the machine is in the front. And so like you could hear like it loosen or whatever else. And while it was happening, like other people around me are kind of like, oh my goodness, like, and I'm literally like this because regardless of what's going to happen, it's not up to the person. It's not up to me. It's going to happen the way it's supposed to happen. There's nothing that I can do about it. And why freak out in this moment when I can't change anything? I know God's going to handle it however He sees fit. It's going to be for His benefit. It's going to be for the best. I mean, that's how I look at most situations now. I know there's nothing I can do about certain things. The things that I can control, I try to do the best that I can. I try to do things to help people. I try to do things to help myself. If there's something that I have no control over, like there's some things happening with my business or some things happening with, like my family or something like that that I can't control, I put it in God's hands and I just patiently wait. Is it hard to patiently wait sometimes? Yes, because I've been working on my patience, but I have been a lot better at being patient since I've been working on becoming more patient. Like I know I can't just do things in the moment because I want them. I have to wait on God. I know that I can't just make decisions in my life that are not led by God. I know that even if I want something at this very moment, I might have to wait another day. That's just what it is. I might have to wait another week. However long it is that God intends for me to wait, I'm going to wait patiently, putting my trust in Him, knowing that He's going to work things out for my benefit. And I already said in conclusion, but it's a good way to think about things, especially when you're someone who is constantly worried and likes to rush through life like I used to. Sometimes I still have my moments, but I try very, very hardly to make sure that I'm patient and patiently waiting on God because I don't want anything prematurely. I don't want a relationship prematurely if I'm not there yet, especially when it's someone who's so incredible. I don't want to I don't want to rush into anything. And I definitely don't want to put any person who is incredible through anything that would hurt them. I don't. I'm not that type of person who goes out and intentionally hurts people anyways. I also want to make sure that I am healed. I mean, there might be some parts of me that might not be 100% healed when I do get the person or whatever else. But I also don't want to be broken. So broken that I hurt someone who doesn't deserve it. And in order for me to do that, I have to trust God. I have to continuously keep working at healing. I have to face my fears. I have to face things in my life, things that are not easy, things that are difficult, things that push me outside of my comfort zone. And I'm willing to do that because I know God got me.